Hi, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share, give a thumbs up to this video if you found it helpful, and pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. Share it. I'd appreciate that. How the narcissist, female narcissist, plays hide and seek using public assistance. And in this case, public assistance meaning battered women's shelters, we'll just talk about battered women's shelters or women's shelters. As we know, women's shelters are designed and set up for people, or women in particular, that may have a child or children who have been displaced, don't have a home, or running or getting away from a hostile domestic situation. Now, think about the narcissists, how they use and leverage opportunities and capitalize on such things as this. How do I know this? Observation. I discovered today, I was just doing a lawn across the street. I discovered what I perceive and believe is a hideout, woman's shelter, whatever you want to call that. And I believe this is designed and designated for such women who are running from a volatile situation. I don't have a problem with that. But in cases where a covert or a narcissist, female narcissist, is actually running from responsibility and accountability, this fits perfect for that situation. Think about it. Female narcissists, when they play their hand or overplay their hand, they gaslight the hell out of empaths or someone they meet, and it ends up being an empath, and he gives them their ass on a paper plate. They run. They are runners. Fight or flight. They'll fight, but they are big on flight. They run, they throw the rocks and hide their hand. I didn't do that. No, I don't know what you're talking about. This is their MO, male or female. But in this particular video, I'm talking about female narcissists. And as you know, female narcissists have advantages that male narcissists oftentimes don't. A male narcissist won't garner the sympathy from society as a woman will. A woman would often be more convincing than a male narcissist, simply because they lead with their body, their looks, their sexuality, and etc. So therefore, women, hands down, often have more opportunities, and they have more goodies and privileges at their disposal. And so think about this. Catholic charities and all of these entities that are designed or available, I'll say, because we can talk about what they're designed for in a whole nother video if I was to care enough about that. But we're talking about these are designated and set up and for the purposes of protecting women who otherwise don't have a place to go and for safety. And so a female narcissist leverages this. And a lot of times they're envious. It's kind of like the kid in them. They see someone do something, they mimic it. And if a narcissist happens upon opportunities such as this, talking to her girlfriend or something, she may not even be a battered woman, but being that they are manipulators, she will have a heart-to-heart with a girl that's actually going through a situation where she has a disgruntled or an angry boyfriend, or he's a stalker or whatnot. And the girlfriend may say, I don't know what to do. And I had someone told me I should check into this shelter where they won't know where I'm at. The light bulb goes on in this female narcissist's head. So the next time she gaslights one of many of her supplies, because they're gaslighting these supplies, multiple supplies, they're gaslighting these men simultaneously. And that's just the order of the day. to start chaos, start confusion. This is what makes them regulate their dysfunction and disorder. So back to point, I discovered that this is something that goes under the radar of the average human being walking around. And here we are. And, they can garner sympathy. They can garner the safety. They can garner the protection. And the people who are putting them up and protecting them have no idea that these are the very people who started the fire. They are fire starters. And here comes the firemen and the fire truck, saving them from the burning building. They start fires just to watch them burn. We're talking metaphors. And some of them actually start physical fires. They will burn the family up in the house. If there's something to be gained monetarily. And not even so much that. They'll pretend to mourn at the funeral and call the very next day to the insurance company asking when the check will be in the mail. This is the darkest of dark. And again, those movies that we used to watch, go and see, that has these twisted plots in them, straight narcissistic personality disorder. There is no other description to give this. So when you watch a suspense thriller, whereas all of these twists and turns and curves, you are watching narcissistic personality disorder. And if you've been through this type of abuse, I wouldn't think that you would be even interested in that type of stuff, because I'm not going to say wouldn't sit and watch a movie, period, anymore. I'm just saying I don't flock towards these type of things. And our minds have been conditioned in this warped matrix of a world to sensationalize a lot of things that we should be disgusted by. But when the narcissist rips you a new one and you happen to get out of it, such as I have, by the grace of God, you have a different perspective on what you desire to watch and what you don't. A lot of the things that waste time and mental energy in all ways non-productive, I'm not even interested in them. I'm not even interested in them. And that's not to bash anyone that seems to be interested in them. These things don't hold my attention the way they used to. I would rather be talking about this subject such as I'm doing here. If I'm going to utilize some time and put some mental energy into talking about this disgusting demonic entity, I would rather be talking here on YouTube, trying to inform people of how they should look at this, because this is deplorable. These are people that spend every moment of the day plotting, trying to come up with new ways to annihilate people and manipulate and con. And so that woman's shelter, if you're a woman, you should be really, really disgusted by the fact that if you know a friend, as I'm speaking, that sort of has a pattern of these things that I'm just describing, you may in fact have befriended and given your empathy to a narcissist, a female narcissist, in and out of the woman's shelter. And here you are thinking she just can't find a good man. She very well could be that problem. She very well could be that demonic entity that hands down consistently ruins every relationship on purpose. But she's giving you a bunch of BS talking about because she came up through a family of abuse, she seems like she just picks the men that always like to beat on her. This holds some truth in some cases, but we're talking about a narcissist, a female narcissist. They leave no stone unturned, guys. They leave no stone unturned. And if we're talking about a male narcissist, you know, there's the rescue missions and stuff like that. They hover around those for freebies, handouts. But oftentimes, there won't be a lot of people and resources that they can draw from, such as a female narcissist can. You know, a man is hard pressed to even go out there and trick his body in the streets. A woman can trick her body. She can go out and do tricks. Obviously, narcissists they trick anyway. They're prostitutes. They are prostitutes in the worst way. I mean, the prostitute who's out there doing this as a form of income. In many cases, some of those are narcissists, but a lot of them are drug addicted and could have been slandered and pulled through the mud by ways of male narcissists to the point where it just broke them down mentally. There are cases such as that. How do you know the difference? Lack of empathy. Lack of empathy. They don't cry. They don't shed tears. They rarely show real, raw, genuine emotions. Their emotions are mimicked. Their emotions are cartoons, animated emotions. They can turn it off and turn it off like a light switch. This is how you know. You just have to pay attention, guys. And if this offended anyone, you shouldn't be, because I specifically am talking about female narcissists, how they leverage these things that are in place to help people that are vulnerable. Narcissists aren't vulnerable. People talk about the vulnerable narcissist. That particular type of narcissist, they play their hands, such as the narcissist I'm talking about. The only thing about that vulnerable narcissist who still tries to abuse and annihilates her victims every chance she gets. Say vulnerable narcissist meets a man, he happens to be an empath. She gaslights the hell out of him until he turns on her like a Rottweiler without a collar or a leash. What she does is it ends up, well, let's go even better. She destroys his life to some degree because he's given her handouts to the point where he has lost everything simply because he has become her savior. And then she goes on, she abuses and she breaks him down financially, where he has to start from square one, which they all tend to do to their victims. Then this vulnerable narcissist goes on and she meets another victim, but this victim happens to be a narcissist as well. Unbeknownst to her, this vulnerable narcissist gets a piece of her own medicine. And so what happens is when this male narcissist meets this vulnerable female narcissist, by the time he's done with her, she ends up going into hiding, such as what I just said, utilizing these shelters and whatnot. And what happens, she is decomposing. She goes through the narcissistic collapse. She goes through narcissistic, the rage, the collapse, and what's the other one? The narcissistic, just a breakdown, the narcissistic, where they go in and they hibernate. So she will sit in this rescue mission or this women's shelter to the point where she's going downward real fast. And she ends up, and I didn't mention, she gets involved with this male narcissist, and he happens to be a drug dealer. And what he has done is he's turned her out. He's introduced her to the needle, because they always want to do anything and everything that everybody's doing. They're naive as hell. And so that point I didn't mention, I left that out. So now she's running from him because she's gaslighting him, because she's a vulnerable narcissist, but she's antagonistic too. And so only thing about the vulnerable narcissist, they always playing victim, as all of them do, but they are a little more subservient to a strong degree. But they don't really know how to abuse their their victim, the vulnerable narcissist. In the way that you might have the self-aware female narcissist, the covert narcissist, and different things like that. So she's in this woman's shelter, and she ends up she's already strung out on drugs. So the narcissistic injury is what I was talking about, and that's during that happens along with the collapse. And so now she's in the woman's shelter. She's having withdrawals, so she goes out and starts tricking. And now you know the story. She's off to the races. Everything about her goes downward, downward, downward. So she has ended up getting bit by her own devices. So again, these people, they love to use and utilize and manipulate these things designed to help those that are really in need. They'll get behind campaigns. They will work at volunteer shelters because all they're doing is getting intel. They will work at the voting polls. They will work in all of these capacities where it's volunteer work, because what they need to do is get in and get intel, and they want to rub shoulders with people who matter in society. They want to look significant. And how do they do that? They want to be alongside people who are significant. A lot of these politicians, they recruit these narcissists because they know that they'll go out here and make noise and leverage the manipulation against people. This thing is so widespread. I could connect dots all night long. But to this point, I just want to get you guys to understand that was something I observed today. And I figured I should do a video about it. So the next time you have a female that's running back and forth in and out of these women's shelter, think about it. Is this in fact a narcissist who is actually the aggressor and the abuser and pretending to be abused? That being said, bless.